Yeah, that's fine. I don't think she cares about that. I think she just cares about the fuck shit.
I mean, it's a great atmosphere. Yeah.
She
She can watch it later.
Yeah, I know, but when are we gonna upload this? 20?
Welcome back to Higurashi.
Tyler loves me. Don't let anything that you hear tell you
Man
otherwise.
is the most unprofessional person I've ever worked
That
with.
is not true! You showed me TikToks first, alright? That was not my
At least I don't do it while we're recording. All right.
bitch!
All right.
I'm gonna say horrible things about you online on my twit longer. I'm taking you to trial for defamation.
He's gonna out me on twitter.com.
All I would have to do is link your Twitter and you do it yourself.
You just have to link my Twitter and my Facebook account and say these are the same person.
These are the
fuck 'em up.
same guy. I'm sure you've said the N-word on Twitter.
I'm pretty sure that tweet's deleted. I delete my tweets every so often. I have no idea. I actually have no idea.
No, that was funny. That was funny. With the genuine voice that you said that in, that was funny.
I mean, if I have said it, it's probably gone.
Allegedly, Elon Musk removed it for me. All right.
No, Elon Musk is gonna let me bring it back. Am I gonna have to cut all of that?
Yeah. All right, you want to just restart it from here?
Nah.
Hold on.
Let's just start.
I got you. Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Markiplier.
It's Jack. It's Markiplier.
Top of the movie, buddies. It's Jacksepticeye here.
I have no idea how.
Yeah, and then that's where we start. That's cool. We can cut all the hatred of minorities out.
You want to start reading?
You gotta cut that.
We'll see what happens.
You can't keep that in.
We'll see what happens. Elon Musk is gonna own YouTube next.
You can't.
And it's gonna be totally fine.
You can't keep that in. You can't keep that in. I'm reading. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I got it. I'm getting there. This is me in the VO booth, you know? Gamer. Mion and the others, having to set up for the Tatarigoroshi festival or something, invited me along, but I refused. Of course I did. How could they be taking it easy and setting up for a festival in this situation? Mion had a lot of nerve. Am I even gonna be able to bring crazy Keiichi back? Am I gonna be able to summon that energy back into my body?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I feel like every time I go schizophrenic with him, it's gonna be slightly different because I'm just not gonna remember how
that's
to
how
do
that
it.
works. That's totally fine.
Alright, bet. As long as that's still on brand, then we're gooch. The first thing I did when I got back was take a shower. Not because I wanted to wash off sweat. It was because I wanted to be even calmer. POV, I'm in Keiichi's shower. I already understood this, but killing that man would be so very easy. I cannot hear anything.
Very loud.
So loud. The really hard thing would be not getting arrested for it, so we could get our peaceful days back. As I thought about it, I realized it wasn't easy. Japan's police force have the highest arrest rate in the world. I knew that from Persona 5. I would need to deceitfully pull off the perfect crime, and it couldn't be a half-hearted attempt. Still, it wasn't 100%. Even the best police force in the world couldn't have a 100% arrest rate. I've read a lot of articles on trials with people brought up on false charges. They do a lot to determine whether they really were false accusations, but figuring out who the real criminal was is usually out of the question. And that meant perfect crimes did exist. In fact, perfect crimes were sort of like works of art. I love Keiichi. They could even be respected and revered. You just had to look at the inundation of mystery novels everywhere throughout history. They dealt with all sorts of difficult-to-solve incidents, involving secret rooms and alibis and stuff, but they all wanted to show one thing. They wanted to show the beauty of a perfect crime. There was something divine in the flawlessness of the word perfect. Yes, perfect crimes were skills of the gods. And in that sense, the serial freak deaths they were calling the curse of Oyashiro-sama, I understood. They must have been the works of gods. Each one appeared to have been resolved, but they couldn't stop it from happening every year. Yeah, skills belonging only to gods, those are perfect crime. And I would be setting up my own crime before Oyashiro-sama's series of perfect crimes 4 years in the running. If I were to put it boldly, I was challenging a god. Foolhardiness would be needed to make the decision, but I needed to be calm, cool, colder than ice to put that plan together. Kill him like a flame, but as systematic as ice. Starting now, I needed to retain both of those ideas within me. Modeling my crimes after a mystery novel wasn't actually a bad thing to focus on. Sometimes, kidnapping involves...
Oh my god. Sometimes.
Did I say sometimes?
You did. You said it right.
Okay. Manga gamer?
Manga gamer.
Sometimes.
Manga gamer moment.
Sometimes kidnapping involves disturbing, original methods that made it onto the newspaper were used as biases for novels after the person was arrested. Stuff like that made it into the news. Day and night, for a very long time, mystery novel authors polished and refined their most fantastic artistic crimes.
Imitating that.
Yeah, imitating that. I kept wanting to say intimidating. Or, like, intimating. Imitating. Imitating that could be a shortcut to planning the perfect crime in a short period of time. Of course, I haven't read enough mystery novels to act all high and mighty about them. The one who really liked mystery novels was my mom. She'd read every well-known mystery novel from overseas, from past and present. Every time she watched mystery shows, she would always criticize them as having cheap tricks or being poorly thought out. I wonder what the perfect crime would mean to her. Keiichi calls his mom and is like, "Hey, how do I commit the perfect crime?" Holy shit, that's exactly what he did.
Try it.
What do I think the most well-done perfect crime in all of mystery novels I've read is?
Yeah. Well, you read quite a lot of them, right? I figured you might know a lot about them.
It's more fun to read them to find out. If I told you all the tricks right off the bat, they'd be no fun anymore.
It wasn't like I was asking for my own amusement. She was deflecting the question, so I would somehow butter her up first, then draw out an answer.
Of course, Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None is my top recommendation.
That's actually a great book. That's genuinely a great book.
And Murder on the Orient Express do some great, bold tricks too. Of course, I didn't see it coming at all.
Is this just Ryukishi's way to shout out to the mystery novels that he enjoyed and that helped found his ability to write mystery novels?
Sure, probably, yeah.
Is this him shouting out Agatha Christie and Murder on the Orient Express?
He's foreshadowing Umaneko. What if he's foreshadowing fucking Sakonia too?
Yo.
Big thing with the Murder on the Orient Express.
Big thing? Train arc?
It's not a train, but more in general. Anyway,
That's me.
it's you.
I didn't want to know which novels you liked. I wanted to know about the trick that made you the most surprised.
If it was a really perfect trick, the detectives wouldn't be able to solve the case, though.
That was true. Then there'd be no point.
Mystery novels are enjoyable because of the process of the mysteries getting solved. If it was unsolvable, it wouldn't make for a very good topic for a novel.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. If the main character can't solve it, it wouldn't be much of a story, huh? Was I being too simplistic? A mystery novel was basically a game. They were written so that you could get to the goal, so that you could solve them. But I couldn't use something so optimistic. It needed to be the be-all, end-all of tricks, so that we could, without a doubt, return to our old lives.
But Woo! By the way, Keiichi. This see how hard this is. I hate how I have like all female characters.
Are you telling me I don't
Keiichi.
make a great femme fatale?
The highest pitch female character you voice is Sadako.
Chie, no, yeah, Sadako's higher than Chie. Sorry. Are you telling me I don't make a great femme fatale? Don't
Especially not when you say it fatale, not a fatale.
fatale.
Femme fatale. By the way, Keiichi, do you understand that truly perfect crimes don't even become stories?
Mom looked at me intellectually and grinned impishly. I'd never gotten to read it, but apparently one time, a long time ago, Mom had written her own mystery novel and submitted it for some mystery novel award. Apparently, she was really into it. Are you Keiichi? Okay. Don't even become stories. What does that mean?
Keiichi, what are the essential parts of a story?
A beginning, middle, and an end?
Correct. The beginning, of course, is especially important. If there's no beginning, then the story never starts.
Well, yeah. If nothing happened, nothing would begin.
Right. Nothing happened, so there wouldn't even be an incident. Detectives wouldn't be called, so there wouldn't be any mystery. There would be no mystery, so there would be no solution. In other words, it would be the ultimate perfect crime.
Wait a second. Could you explain that again? My mom just told me something absurd. And she was saying it so smoothly, too. So I kinda tuned her out, but she said something extremely important just now.
It's not really that difficult to understand. The incident just has to never come to light, that's all.
It just has to never come to light?
For example, how about this? Say there's an old man living deep in the forest that nobody goes into.
Uh-huh.
And one day, the old man gets killed by an axe. And let's say the criminal was the old man's son. He went to the old man's house and they were drinking together, but they got into a fight and he killed him.
What an extremely cheap plot. It was an impulsive crime without a bit of planning. It was pretty far from a perfect crime.
But Keiichi, the house is really, really deep in the forest. So deep in the mountains that nobody would ever go out that far. Then his son would go back to town and say that the old man was doing fine.
What about that is a perfect crime?
Keiichi, this incident would only begin when it was found out the old man was killed. If nobody ever visited the old man's house after that, then that beginning would never occur.
The beginning would never occur?
So basically, the story wouldn't start, the incident wouldn't come to light, and they wouldn't call the detectives. And nobody would suspect. Nobody would be suspicious in the first place, so there would be no mystery. They'd think the old man was still living by himself, deep in the forest. And the old man's face would appear in the sky, and that would be it. Something like that, you know?
JoJo Part 3? You know, what's fucked up about this? There's a mall, Cumberland Mall.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dead guy in a subway for 3 weeks before someone found him.
In a subway?
In a subway in Cumberland Mall. There was a dead body in a subway in Cumberland Mall for 3 weeks.
Where?
Just in one of the booths.
Damn.
It wasn't like, I don't think it was like obviously it wasn't like an open, fully operating like subway, but like, cause Cumberland Mall, I think, was either in the process of closing or like sort of closing down, so the subway was still there. Yeah, genuinely, I think like a homeless man laid down in the booth and had a heart attack, and it took 3 weeks before anyone found him.
Wow.
Like, it's a very real thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like people will go missing or just die, and that's it. No one ever like questions them again, and it takes months before anyone figures anything out. That's amazing. That's a pretty great trick.
But it wouldn't be a novel. Mystery novels are for entertainment, after all. They can't be instruction manuals for perfect crimes.
I was trying hard to talk cheerfully to fool her, but inside I was excited. Special tools, strange geography, mysterious drugs, traps involving huge sums of cash. None of them needed for the perfect crime. The important thing was that there wasn't a beginning. As long as the incident didn't come to light, it would be fine. Speaking broadly, if I could kill him without anyone finding out, and dispose of the corpse somehow no one could find, it would basically already be a perfect crime.
I can't believe there's no sound here.
Of course, if someone up and vanished one day, all of a sudden people would get suspicious. But that didn't apply to this man. Last year, after their aunt died, he ran away from the village in fear of Oyashiro-sama. When the night of the Watanagashi came around again, everyone would have to think that he ran away in fear again. I mean, he had been living with a lover of his in town. No matter what it felt like when he vanished, no one would be suspicious. People hated him after all. No one would care where he went if he disappeared. When I thought about it like that, it got easier and easier to imagine killing him. There was no point in thinking inside my house anymore. You just leave his mom on the phone?
On the phone? Oh, did she answer the phone?
Oh, yeah, he was talking to her on the phone.
Yeah. No. They were in the same room.
I thought he was on the phone.
With his mom?
Yeah.
In their living room?
I thought they were in Tokyo.
No.
I forgot that they're still in the house. I was thinking like Watanagashi where they're in Tokyo.
No, he just walked
Yeah,
into the living room where his mom was and asked her a question.
I asked her about murdering people, but I left, getting my bike out of the garage. For now, it didn't matter where I was going. I just rode through the wind, trying to calm my excitement by feeling the cool air on my body. Where I'd kill him, how I'd do it, what time, and how to dispose of the corpse. You know what he could do? You know the mountain that Sadako has all the traps on? Mm-hmm. He just baits him out there.
Yeah.
And just lets him die to the Sadako traps.
Deal with the
Like-
the Viet Cong traps.
Yeah, like genuinely the fucking Viet Cong traps that she has set up. And then that's it. He dies in a mountain space that no one explores anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then GG.
Yeah.
Go next.
Yeah.
Into the game.
Easy game, easy life.
If I had just those 4 things, I could get a good plan going. I was surprised at how little there was to decide that I shivered.
So surprised.
I'd been completely prepared to build this humongous plan over a really long period of time. But if I could just get these little things in order, I could put it into motion. Today was Saturday. I would have to kill him on the night of the Watanagashi, so as long as I was standing in Oyashiro-sama... as long as I was standing in for Oyashiro-sama, I only had 24 hours remaining. Theoretically, it's really easy to kill people.
Yeah.
The hard part is getting away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the huge thing. He's acting like he's intimidating, but he's not.
Alright, that's the last one. He loves me.
Mm-hmm.
He won't admit to it. Sadako. Just hang on. For 24 more hours. I can't even imagine having to suffer through even more. But please, hold out for a little longer. He's gonna kill Sadako.
Yep.
I'm gonna be really sad.
Sadako's gonna die.
I'm gonna be really sad when he kills Sadako. I know you can't even last another second. I know that. But please, just hold out. Your Nini will save you for sure. He's gone full brother mode. Never go full Nini mode, dude. Outside, it was still early enough for the cicadas to be crying. Early afternoon. Evening was still a long way off. I looked at the sky. At some point it had gotten cloudy.
Oh, this song.
Come to think of it, as I left the house, I heard on the TV that the weather forecast was calling for a chance of rain on Sunday. The sky was the color of lead.
Yeah. You like that music?
Holy shit. You know what I just got flashback to?
What are you feeling here?
what was it? Dragon Quest V on the DS.
Wow.
This
Yeah?
is like a Dragon Quest dungeon song. With the MIDI crust and the sound, I'm playing Dragon Quest right now. If I heard a little bit of thunder, I'd definitely have expected a sudden evening shower. There's a lot of penis music in this track. There's a lot of like sci-fi beeps and
I'm gonna
boops.
break this glass over your head and stab you with the fragments.
You would 100% do that to me, yeah. My first destination was school. Before explaining why I was going there, I needed to explain what method for killing that man I had decided upon. I decided that the most suitable death, the one I needed to give him, was the same as last year's curse. The same as the punishment their aunt had received, being beaten to death. Wouldn't beating him to death be somewhat unreliable? You may think that stabbing him with a blade would be more reliable, but this was something I had chosen after a lot of thought. I like how he's monologuing to himself. Mm-hmm. I appreciate this. You just needed to think realistically. The law. It prohibited carrying any blades longer than 10 centimeters, I think. So the blades available to me, though long enough, were limited to things shorter than a ruler. You can probably understand how tricky it would be with such a short reach to go up against an opponent that might fight back. In that case, using a weapon with reach would be far more effective. It might not have the same precision, but you just had to hit the guy until you killed him. Both options resulted in death. With that settled, what is the weapon with the most terrifying force behind it that is also easy to carry around? I love Keiichi. By this point, you should immediately think of a metal baseball bat. I don't need to explain how terrifying a metal baseball bat can be as a weapon. Of special note is the fact that you can carry one around in broad daylight and not be thought of as suspicious. Just those 2 points would have been enough to choose a metal bat for my weapon. But there was one more reason for choosing a metal bat in particular. I will speak about it later. After school that Saturday, my classmates were still having fun, playing in the schoolyard. I forgot this is just like a school day.
Yeah. This is a normal day. This is 24 hours before the Watanagashi festival.
It's not even like a day off. He just is like, yeah, I'm here to kill.
I think this is after school.
Yeah. He's like went to class.
Yeah. I think this is like right after everything just happened.
He went to class and just thought about murdering people all day. And that's it. That's it. Like,
Well, I mean, no. I mean, this morning was the freakout.
yeah. Oh, that was this morning?
He's acting, I think. Because we started...
Well, he just
Yes,
left
we
his
started-
house, but he left his house.
We started with the school bells, marking the end of the day. He went home. Because Mion and Rena went to go help with the festival.
So he went home, talked to his mom, then went back out. Mm-hmm. Got you. I could show up there and it would be the same as always, so no one will think I'm suspicious. Getting my hands on the weapon without looking suspicious was actually a factor I couldn't ignore. I didn't normally play baseball, so if I went to a sports store looking for a metal bat, it would definitely be suspicious. I can't let there be a beginning to the story, so I needed to be really careful even about that. That left school. At a location at which my appearance wouldn't be suspicious, I would acquire the weapon.
I would acquire... Excuse me. Never mind.
You started and then God struck you down.
Yeah. Good.
I checked inside the classroom through the window, but of course there was nobody there. The only students who would stay in there were me and the others when doing club activities. Without us, the classroom after school was just an empty, unused room. Without glancing around nervously, as if I'd just gone to get something I'd forgotten, I casually went to the entrance. It looked like the teacher was busy with paperwork in the teacher's lounge. I didn't see her in the hallway. I like how the song changed, but it's still like the same. Naturally, yet quickly as a shadow, I entered the classroom.
It has multiple stages.
Yeah, that's what I like. The empty room was full of a strange, stagnant air that you couldn't feel normally. An empty classroom with nobody here. Maybe, while no one is around, the desks creep about on their own accord, licking the floors clean of dirt. What? If I suddenly stepped into a place like that, would the desks, in their surprise, fly at me, crush my bones, and eat me alive? What? That's ridiculous. I felt regret at wasting valuable time thinking on stupid delusions.
Thinking time.
Fucking. I'm just gonna start eating my fingers when I mess up.
Like carrots.
Yeah. They call me Johnny Depp.
I'm not giving you the satisfaction of that one.
You never will. You never give me the satisfaction. It's bullshit.
I am the worst character.
He only provides satisfaction if I make an actual joke. The student lockers were lined up in the back of the classroom. The one I was looking for wasn't my own. It was a forbidden locker. One I had accidentally discovered one day. Here it is. Hojo. This sounds like a Katamari soundtrack. The Katamari song?
Really?
Yeah. I can pull it up. Here it is. Hojo. This has to be it. If one person has one locker, then why would only Sadako have two? I'd made a fuss about it once. After that, I learned it was Satoshi's locker, and he had the same last name as her. But of course, even though it was a locker for a student no longer here, looking inside of it was still a shameless act. But one time, I let my curiosity get the better of me and took a peek inside. Inside, it was average and worthless. At the time, I hadn't been interested, so until now I'd forgotten what had been in it. But now that I had, dare I say...
Dare I say it?
But now that I had, dare I say it, awakened, remembered...
I remember.
Fuck. I am in pain. I remembered the thing that had been there. Opened the locker, and a stench of mold and sweat wafted out, like a gym storehouse that hadn't been cleaned in weeks. My face puckered up at the stench, but I looked for it. Yes. Damn. Satoshi was on Coach's baseball team. Inside the locker was a Hinamizawa fighter's uniform, and the one Satoshi used, the metal bat. I hope he takes the uniform too, and he kills him in the uniform with the bat. That would be based.
It would be great, because you discard the clothes with all the blood on it, and you let that be found, and it's like Satoshi came back and finished the job.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
And fucking, yeah, the wild
We are
Satoshi.
smarter than Keiichi. Not a hard thing to do, but we are.
He sets the bar real low.
Yeah.
Yes. This was the reason I wanted to choose this bat. This murder would be carried out by me. But this wasn't originally my role. It was Satoshi's. But I would stand in for him and call myself Sadako's Nini. It was one of the rules for standing in for him. This is the bell. Whenever you load up Demo, the piano game, the Korean piano game, it plays this, and you hear Demo.
You
That's
know,
all
you
I
know
could
what
think
these
of.
these are, what they're supposed.
do
So
not.
in I don't know what it's like folklore, I guess, in Japanese folklore. When you hear bells, it means you're entering the spirit realm type idea.
So
So-
Satoshi's spirit is gonna reach out to him
Mm-hmm.
and like put a hand on his shoulder and be his guiding light. I like it. I reached out for the metal bat and grasped it firmly. It was light, and yet its tip had enough heft in it, enough to easily imagine the horror if I brought it down with all my might. Satoshi, I'll give you one last chance to save your sister. Lend me your strength. You're a coward, but I will stand in for you. If you still care even a little bit about her, you will lend me your strength. There is no more suitable weapon in the world for putting that man to death than your bat. Now, I just needed to figure out where to hide it. Tomorrow, before the act, I would just stop by the school and grab it. Because I couldn't ignore the possibility that someone would see me bringing it home and think it was strange. But if I left it here, there wouldn't be a problem. Plus, tomorrow was Sunday. Not only that, it was the day of the biggest festival in the whole village. Nobody would be coming to school. I left out the entrance and went over to the construction vehicle parked nearby. We had been warned by our teacher not to touch it just for laughs, so none of the kids would come near the vehicle either. They wouldn't, because if she found out they touched it, they'd be in huge trouble. I quietly hid it in the shadows of the vehicle. The chances of someone operating the vehicle tomorrow were slim to none, because tomorrow was Sunday. Government workers had the day off, and, from what my classmates had said, the thing had been left here for years now. Machines that hadn't been moved in years. You can't just suddenly start them up again. So I was almost definitely fine in this case. Keiichi shows back up tomorrow and it's gone. The machine's just gone. It's just an empty spot. And then he just sits there and like screams internally for the rest of the game.
Yep, exactly.
I can't wait for Keiichi to punch Sadako's uncle to death. The sunlight was piercingly hot. My head grew faint for a moment. Had the heat been this harsh for the entire day? A moment of dulled thoughts like this was a moment of carelessness. I gave myself a couple of hits in the head, then looked around wearily. Okay. Next, how do I dispose of the corpse?
How to?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
The perfect break point? Like,
Okay.
we couldn't have asked for better timing?
We will be back
No, we won't.
next time.
On
The Magnus
Keiichi's
Institute.